I'm playing around with the OBS again, and I don't know what I'm doing. So, it's one of those days. All right, let's bring this over here. Boom. Okay, cool. That's there. I don't know what is going on. Let's also bring this over here. This is okay. Refresh the chat. I can't see the chat. Let me try to pop this out. Get started. I've never used this before. YouTube live control panel. If you're not gonna do anything, let's get you out of here. Boom. I got the YouTube chat. I don't see anybody in there. And yet, people might be in there. So that's weird. Let's get you up out of here. I don't know. I might have to do this whole live again. Roby's in the house. We got Roby. Alright, so we got people. Alright, Roby, what's up, man? What's up? Is the mic levels good, Roby? I haven't seen you in a while. You good? I was listening to Tucker Carlson. A lot going on with Dr. Fauci taking the fifth. It's vindicating to a lot of us. A lot of us that were, we knew through intuition we were right. We were correct. We knew. And it wasn't purely on intuition, right? Like we're some type of Buddhist monks that are out here just strictly moving off our intuition. It's not that ridiculous. There was a large group of the science population, despite how they're trying to change around the narrative now, a large group of the science population who was standing on business. People with reputable histories, education, accomplishments, work in the field. There were many. And how they got tossed to the side when they would not get on board with the lie. I don't even think we're going to talk about the people that were unalived during this whole push in this campaign. And let's be clear, it wasn't Dr. Fauci by himself, right? And I'm glad Dr. Rand Paul mentioned that. It wasn't him by itself, but the CIA was involved in these shenanigans. So as I was enjoying myself listening to Tucker Carlson, because if he's nothing, he has the ability to be obviously a journalist with a lot of access to sources, right? I don't have the Fauci diary, and not that I even look for them, but he has a team, right? He can sit 5 interns down. Yo, y'all go through this, you go through that, you go through that. He can get it done. I don't have a team. I barely know when I'm going to be motivated to even talk about a topic. I don't know all the time. I just like to freestyle. I don't want to be a slave to YouTube, right? I have to find out what I'm going to talk about today. It's driving me crazy. Well, it will drive me crazy. I don't let it drive me crazy because I want to have fun, right? If I can't do it and have fun, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Uncle Andy's in the building. Salute to Uncle Andy. So as I'm listening to Tucker Carlson today, and I enjoy him. Yes, I think he's a Jesuit, but that's neither here nor there, right? Nick Fuentes thought he was a CIA, which he wasn't far. He wasn't far from a spook, because his father was a spook. You know what they say: the apple don't fall far from the tree. If he's a spook or not, I like him. I'm gonna keep it real with you. He's probably a spook. He's just working one angle. You understand? Get everybody riled up on this side, which is the right side, coincidentally. But as he was explaining something today, how Dr. Fauci had tried to rely on the black people, the black community, I found it hilarious he did black voice. Now I know black people are highly sensitive right now. Some black people are just sensitive, period, right? You can't never say nothing. Just be jokes. And they go, I don't know, man. But I found it funny. They probably be tight at me. No, brother, you can't do that, man. It's not funny when they mock us. Listen, man, take it easy. We do have a way that we talk. How's it okay for you to mock the white man when you get frustrated, right? Not all white men sound like they have a number 2 pencil stuck up their ass. Well, hello, Ned. But that's what we do. That's our impression of white men for some strange reason. Yet, the average white man is not running around talking like that. Why is it okay for all of us to mock Chinese people? They don't even have a say. Everybody's mocking the Chinese people. And they just have to eat that. Indians try to push back, but don't is just funny. Don't is just funny. Knock it off with the being frustrated that people are doing don't. Just go with it, because it is what it is. It is what it is. But I caught Tucker twice. Right? It almost came out. I wanted more. I wanted 60 seconds of black voice from Tucker Carlson. Let's go. He gave me a little bit, though. I'm going to play it. He gave me a little bit. He has some excellent commentary. We might listen to the commentary until he gets to the black people. And I know what it is, man. If we didn't have all of this scrutiny, you understand? White man can't do nothing right now. Yeah, he's done enough. What you have, white man, you've done a fuck enough, to be honest. To be honest with you, you did do enough. But you can't do nothing right now. He can't win right now. I say, yo, I'm not even part of that. I don't even get that. They don't care, man. They looking to take. And who's they, right? Because I think it's only one side. But if you think about it, this is where the Jesuit business come in. There's two sides to everything. So they have to make the other side a big deal. You understand? It's kind of extreme how it looks like the Republicans. I don't know if this is like back in the days, but it seems like the Republicans back in the days really did not care about the black community that much. And I think it was because they were blaming a lot of the spending on government programs on the impoverished. And it just so happened to be black people was the most impoverished at the time. Or at least that's what the perception was. I don't even know if that was really true. Once I travel across America, there's a lot of impoverished white people out there too. But when it comes to these urban cities, yeah, they needed a lot of help. And It just seemed like Republicans were not on board and the Democrats were on board. But they were on board, not that the money always reached the bottom, right? Not that it reached where it needed to go all the time. I think more could have been done. But then that's a two-sided coin, because if too many people rely on government funding, they're never going to want to work. They're just going to wait for the handout. So it's a tricky situation. Maybe we could have made the system better. I'm not sure. I didn't never stick around and wait. I took their assistance when I was young because it was given. But I was never going to just live off of welfare. That's just crazy. It's you can get out here and make something happen. You can, right? So use it if you need it. I'm not against that, because you may need it. But my point is, somebody's always going to make it bad for everybody else, and they're just going to live off of try to live it out. And then another side is like, well, they're taking all the money for that, and we got to defend America. Which is also crazy, because they're going to start wars and put us in situations where we have to defend ourselves. Like, we didn't even have these many enemies before you started using the funds to go travel abroad and insert yourself in international business that had nothing to do with you. And now that you did that, well, I guess we do have enemies now, don't we? But they never tell that part of the story. So now it's like, yo, we gotta defend ourselves, goddammit. I've been out here talking to policy a minute. Yeah, you have. Putting everybody in jeopardy. I want to play this Tucker Carlson. Shout out to everybody in the house. My name is Jamel Saladin. This is Society, Past, Present, and Future. I may be your tea of flavor, I may not be. We'll see what happens. Let's listen to some Tucker.
With it. Because by that point, the whole society had been so feminized that every institution had exactly the same attitude, which is, well, the authorities say so. It's for your...
Hold up. You brought up feminized. You brought that up, Tucker. Hold on, everybody. It's funny he brought that up, right? And I had, where are you at? Nah, don't tell me that. Is it on another page? Hold on one second. Oh, it's on Instagram. No? Yeah, there it is right there. Boom. Here we go. Here's an oldie but goodie. Here is an oldie but goodie.
Vaccinated? Free fries when you get vaccinated?
Yeah.
I got vaccinated.
Yeah, you did.
You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries?
Right.
Wait a minute. But there's also a burger.
Damn, de Blasio. Damn, bro. You went out bad. You went out bad, my guy. Damn. Huh? The Lord won't be mocked. No, he won't. Huh? Hold on. We'll get into that in a second. This is a post from August 28th, 2021. It says Jane Perry. Huh? I'm vaccinated, and no, I don't know what's in it. Neither this vaccine, the ones I had as a child, nor in the Big Mac or in hot dogs or in treatments. Whether it's for cancer, AIDS, the one for polyarthritis, or vaccines for infants or children. I trust my doctor when he says it's needed. I also don't know what's in ibuprofen, Tylenol, or you can look these things up, my lady. These things, my dear, have you? It's crazy. You could have just researched how long it took for these products to get licensed. You could have did a little bit of research. You don't, and no one said you had to eat hot dogs or a Big Mac. If the beef is questionable, which obviously is in your conscience as being questionable, I don't know what's in this Big Mac. I thought it was beef. If I'm going to eat something, a hamburger at that, I'm going to think it's beef. You clearly don't think it's beef. And yet, you're out here swallowing Big Macs. I also don't know what's in ibuprofen, Tylenol, or other meds. It just cures my headaches and my pains. I don't know what's in the ink for my tattoos. Vaping. Jesus. Turns out, a lot of people are dying from vaping, my lady. Turns out, people have been catching hepatitis B like crazy from the tattoos. You see me? I don't have any. Nope. I don't vape. Just had a serious conversation with my daughter the other day. You understand? She's at that age. And I'm letting her know, listen, you're going to be around some people. I know the question is coming. Yo, what does it feel like? It could be your last question. I'm going to keep it real with you. That could be your last question. So, I just got to let you know before you go out there and not listen to your parents and end up dead. Just keeping it real with you, shorty. You understand? Love you too much. We done came too far. You're accomplishing way too much. I'm proud of my daughter. But these things don't have any names. They just take. And we're not with our children. Like, think about the shit you did when you was young. You just shook it. Yeah. And then you get out there and you do the shit anyway. So I'm letting her know, listen, you're going to be somewhere without me. And they all going to be doing this shit. And you're going to feel like, yo, I just want to see. And that could be your last time seeing anything. Just keeping it real with you. Says, I don't know what's in the ink for my tattoos, vaping, or every ingredient in my soap or shampoo or even deodorants. I don't know the long-term effect of cell phone use or whether or not that restaurant I just ate at really used clean food and washed their hands. In short, there's a lot of things I don't know and never will. I just know one thing. Life is short, very short. Sounds like your life is going to be shorter if you're not dead already. You live. Your reasoning is wild, my girl. Huh? You was a wild girl. And still want to do something other than just going to work every day or staying locked in my home. I still want to travel and hug people without fear and find little feelings of life before. As a child and as an adult, I've been vaccinated for mumps, measles, rubella, polio, chickenpox, and quite a few other things. My parents and I trusted the science and never had to suffer through or transmit any of said diseases. Just saying. I'm vaccinated, not to please the government, but not to die from COVID-19. And yet, now I found this because I was really looking for the black lady who sold, they was selling the black people out. Fucking chicken, donuts, stupid shit. Stupid shit. Black people showing up for it too. You don't want to be a part of somebody's stereotypical joke, and then you show up to a fucking vaccination for chicken. Are you Are you shitting me? What are you doing? Huh? No, but when I seen it, I can't find it. I think they scrubbed it from the internet. She was a larger black lady. I think she had like a low cut. She had the potato salad arms. You understand? Black people know what I'm talking about. She had the potato salad joints, right? We gauge people on whether they make good potato salad by the fat on their arms. She had those shits. She said, I don't care what they put in it. I'm just going to put it in my arm. I ain't asking no questions. And this was the face of promotion for the vaccines. One of the faces. And I thought, horrible. Horrible. There was a guy, I never forget him. He had subscribed to me. His name was Macau16, right? He probably changed his name by now, but maybe he didn't. And a lot of these guys are trolls. You know how many times he reported me to fucking YouTube? And told YouTube my message is killing people because I'm telling people not to get the vaccine? Huh? I just spoke to Unc from the conscious community. He was over there spewing that crazy shit just to me a month ago. And look, the head of the goddamn virology, the highest paid government worker in the land, he won't look any of yous in the eye, give you a straight answer, nothing. And, I plead the fifth. They asked him what tie he had on. Under my counsel. Getting back to de Blasio, out here selling out people for fucking burgers and fries.
Burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination.
This is embarrassing. This is our government. These are the leaders of the community. This is who we voted for collectively. Huh? To make decisions on our behalf. Hold on. That wasn't even okay, that wasn't what I was looking for. You ready? Okay. It's okay. I was really looking for another video had came up. I can look it up now, actually. It was Senator Hawley. Hold on. Senator Hawley. Questions. I think this is it right here.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable.
What? She has the same eyes as Adam Lanza. See, you have to start to recognize Adam Lanza, you got to start to recognize who is part of the MK Ultra program. You'll get it. Don't worry. Huh? You start to figure it out. B Dolo was good, bro. Look at Adam Lanza right here. She has the same eyes. So after a while, I just know, okay, you're part of the program. She's not even the only. He's not the only one. If you go back and look at a lot of those shooters, they got the same eyes.
Capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue. It's a.
We can
it's a what?
recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I'm.
Yo, this is the chaos we had to live through. The chaos. We'll get to Tucker Carlson in a second. I don't want to rush my show. Who remembers this nonsense? For 4 years, we had to endure total stupidity, right? And if you want to ask me, it was only to... The insanity was exaggerated and amplified because they actually wanted everyone to say, nah, Trump is the right choice. Because I'm telling you, it was off the Richter scale. It was totally insane. Mandated mask, no efficacy at all. Right? You ever went to work and people were putting anything over their face? There were people on the trains, in the bus, public transportation, walking in stores with T-shirts, anything, as long as you're covering your face. It was so ridiculous and stupid. And I hate bureaucratic silliness. I don't last that long, right? So it was like, nah, I gotta work for myself. And it was the best because at the time I did Uber. It was a slash between Uber and my own trucking company I did. But it was amazing because I didn't have to deal with a lot of stupidity. I did at one time. There was a well-known startup I was working for at one point during this craziness. And I was an IT manager, and it was just stupid. And I blew my cool really easy in these environments. Especially when you tell no, you got to put on the mask. Oh my God. So I had to resign. At one point, Uber was rocking because it was subsidized. So the government was giving Uber money to take old people here and there. And they had enough money to run all type of programs and specials for the day. Uber specials were crazy, bro. Yo, you can make $2,500 a week, and I did. It was that stupid. I had took some screenshots of the times I hit $2,500, but then that phone got reset. We have to pay all that money back. That added to the 39 trillion. So when people, I was talking to somebody today, and he was on a rant about, I think his rant was why the left was so good and the right was so bad. And I say, yo, bro, they're all one. What don't you get? We just trade one insanity environment for the next. That's it. You're asking me what's better? Trying to convince everyone and to accept transvestites as whatever they want to be that day, and not to question them, or to borrow a bunch of money from the central bank and send it all to Israel, where they are clearly using it to kill their neighbors. What kind of fucking choices are these? These are ridiculous choices to begin with. Like, why should I be part of this shenanigans? Exactly, Jackson.
I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So
what does he have to do with that shit? So now we have to babysit every trans person who thinks they're something they're not, and walk on eggshells? Would it not be safer to say, listen, bro, you're not a fucking girl? I don't know how many times I gotta tell you this. You're not a girl, my guy. Listen, I'm not gonna stop you from wearing a dress. You look hideous. But I'm not. I wish I could say, if you like it, I love it. I hate it. You like it, I hate it. You look ridiculous. And you're making the children ask questions they shouldn't have to ask at this age. It's too much. It's too much. But now we're going too far. We're going too far where the men could get pregnant. What are we talking about?
I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Or
Why is she a teacher, bro? Why? Look at that face. That's who you hired to be in the classroom with teachers, with kids. But what, because she passed some tests for 4 years? Nah, man. What happened was, and what's happening now, and what has always been happening, is they track who has the ability to follow orders without questioning, right? Some people are just easier to brainwash, bro. That's just it. And they promote the people who have completed the task of being brainwashed. Clearly, she aced it.
Students allowed to question you,
Absolutely.
or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're told that they're opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
All right. It's crazy. Let's get back to Tucker.
For safety. The authorities say so. There's like no men left by that point. And the few men left are the ones who didn't want the vax. And this was a perfect opportunity to just cast them out, to destroy them. And that's exactly what they did.
It's like it's a war on everybody. There's a war on the traditional family of man, woman, and children. where a man and a woman consummate and the female gets pregnant. Bless you. Bless you. Female gets pregnant. There's a war on that family. There's been a war on men. It's been a war on women. Have we not seen the upside down ridiculousness? I get it. Women couldn't vote in the early 1900s, right? So it's like, all right, how do we go from, I can, not only can I vote, but I can put up a cabinet. Yes, you. I never said you couldn't. And to be honest with you, I actually need some help putting in this cabinet if you want to help, right? How did it go from helping and working together to, we don't need men. Fuck men. What? I've never said I didn't need a woman. Never said it. Never will. That's crazy talk. It almost seems impossible if that's half of our existence as human beings. It's just a crazy thing to say. And fuck all that. I don't want to live in a... I would not want to live in a world without women. That's just crazy talk. But they've been turning them butch day in and day out, turning our women butch. I don't know if there was an operation for that via CIA, some type of Operation Flag on the Play. I don't know, huh? I wouldn't doubt it if it was declassified in 4 more years. And y'all come to me one day, I wake up, my inbox is flooded. Yo, you was right. How'd you know? Operation Flag on the Play, bro. I just was intuition, bro. Glory be to God. Give all the glory to God. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just tapped in. It's right there. They declassified it today. I'm sure they did. All the women are going butch and dyke. All the guys are just becoming more and more feminine. And my theory is that when it's time for us, because I think people can only take so much before they revolt, right? Even the people in Haiti had to, like, you know what? If the end result is me dying anyway, then let's just get it on right now. And they got their freedom, but not without bloodshed. So you have to be aware that going after your freedom could cost you your life. But fuck it, it's better than to go out fighting, to go out like a sucker. And I think that they know that it's only to a certain point these people are going to take this. So our best chance is to emasculate the man, make him a wimp, a queen, if you will. Not that there's no homosexuals that can't fight and can put in that work. I know there are. But to try to purposely churn our men into homosexuals and our women into homosexuals so that we don't produce is crazy. And I think that's what it comes down to, right? Slowing down. It makes sense. If you want to slow down the population because you feel like we don't have enough resources and our systems can't even work that fast to comply. I mean, can every restaurant in the world serve chicken every night? And yet, every restaurant does. Every restaurant open right now has chicken on their menu. How? Sway? How many oxtails are there on the planet that every Jamaican restaurant could provide oxtails today and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow? Can we keep this up? So it makes sense that these people get in a room and they is the most successful, the most brightest though? Is he the most smartest? You understand? Or did he see opportunity, he took advantage. Somebody like Bill Gates, right? Yo, I could steal that whole shit from him. And did. You understand? Was in a great position to become successful off of stolen software, allegedly. I don't want to get sued. But he's not right in the head. Clearly. In my opinion. Now, what if most of the majority of people that get in these rooms are not right in the head? They prefer to have sexual relationships with children. They prefer slavery. But they are in charge of the technology and the systems. And they groom people that are like them. I don't know what helped us out. But for us that knew that we weren't crazy and we were like, nah, we're not taking your vaccine. We know you're up to something. We were called conspiracy theorists. I feel so vindicated after calling Dr. Fauci all type of names, but that's all I could really do. I wish Luigi didn't waste that bullet on the insurance guy, but I get it. I understand why he did it. Not saying Luigi was right, but a message had to be sent. Casualties of war. Unfortunately. The man was just trying to feed his family, but you got to consider, we all know insurance companies and the health industry is full of scumbags, right? So Luigi had to set it off. But if he could have just waited a little bit longer, God damn, we could have had a field day. And let me tell you something. If there's anybody out there with Luigi ambitions, just know, I, for one, will do a GoFundMe for you. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just telling you. I will do a GoFundMe for you. Try to get it to your family before they freeze all the money. You understand? Follow your intuition. May the gods be with you. May the gods be with you on your quest. But if I wake up, Fauci is dead, huh? And you in handcuffs, immediately I'm going to the GoFundMe. You're going down. But at least we can make sure your family is okay. And your name lives on. On my show, you're going to be an American hero, goddammit. I can't promise everywhere else. I just know on my show, you will be known as an American hero. I have spoken. This is the way. All right. Let's go.
In any case, Fauci got so frustrated with, his mistreatment at the hands of like two people in all American media that he decided, you know what? I'm going to go see the people who really love me. In the heart of every liberal, there is this core belief that the blacks love me. The blacks love me. They love me. They love me. I'm a hero to the blacks. It's like that scene in Animal House.
I don't know why you even think that. You think that we're fucking docile. You know what it is? So many blacks are willing to coon. That's what it is. He's talking to those blacks that's willing to get out here, break out a fiddle out of no goddamn where. Start dancing a jig. He got fresh watermelon in his fucking pockets. Pants ain't even wet. He pulls out a whole fucking slice. It's amazing. After all these years, they still believe Johann Blumenbach that we are inferior as a people. It's crazy. You believe that? How can you follow the science if you... That don't even make sense. You could take any group of people and not... and suppress them. Mentally, behaviorally, physically. And there's going to be adapting changes to that group based on the experimentation that you have them under. No. These people are just... Look at their skulls. What? It's crazy.
So when they go in, Otis Day of the Night. Otis, he loves us. Otis, he loves us. So Fauci goes, he's like, let's go. I have an idea. Here's what we'll do. We'll go to Southeast DC where the black people live. And, there's been just some misinformation, unfortunately. I guess they're all watching that show on Fox News. Black people in Southeast DC watch a lot of Fox News. And they've been somehow fed this misinformation, maybe by Russia, maybe they're watching RT. And they have these concerns, which we're not going to dismiss because they are black. And so they have a lot of historical claims, that we have to take seriously. But they've been convinced that maybe this whole vaccine thing is a bad idea. So I'm going to go there with the mayor of Washington, who is black. Hilariously, she's like about as black as Fauci or me, like not actually black, but whatever. And we're going to go and we're going to go tell the blacks, like, hey, we're here. It's okay now. We're here. We're on your side. We're going to tell them how great the vax is.
So if you're just coming into my show, I don't have a problem with Tucker Carlson. At the beginning of my show, I already said I appreciated his take on this. But more than that, I appreciated his liberal banter. You understand? It was a little bit too cautious for me. I wanted to hear him do more black voice. It made me laugh. But he only gave me a sample, like a half a millisecond. I said, nah. If I was in a room by myself, I was telling, just cut loose, my boy. You understand? We mock everybody in private. And you mock us in private anyway. So you might as well go ahead and do it on your show. Because some things are funny. This is why when you go down to 42nd Street, and you on the first date, what do? You get that guy to draw a picture of you, of you and your partner on your date, right? And what does the guy do? The artist emphasizes on all the parts that you don't want him to emphasize on. So if you have a big nose, when he turns that thing around, your nose is humongous. You have acne, he's gonna exaggerate it to bumps all over your face, and it's hilarious. You already knew this, so you pay the guy $10 and you just joke, right? You gotta learn how to joke sometimes. Aloe Bruno says, I'm probably not saying it right, but that's how I'm reading it. It says, for white people today, slavery is a distant memory. They don't feel responsible for what happened long ago. Well, most of them are not responsible. I don't know who is responsible. It's not these white people. It's not these white people. You understand? They're too young to be responsible for what happened. No, they're not responsible.
And here's what happened next.
The people in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right.
It's crazy how you just popped up at this black man's house and you thought, I don't think this was a good idea.
Now, so I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to.
Let's just stop right there. He says 20 years of science. Although he's not talking about vaccine. He's talking about gene therapy. Right? Because that's what the vaccine was. It was, in the beginning, Moderna had called it an operating system. Who remembers that? They had scrubbed that from the internet. Says okay, and many white immigrants recently have never known slavery. Right. A son is not responsible for what his grandfather did. Right. He's not responsible. Right. I never asked any white person to acknowledge that they are responsible. I asked them to acknowledge the true history. So my frustration came with when many white people didn't want to look at the true history. If you can't look at the true history, right? If we get to a point in America where they say, yo, why are we teaching this? It's only making people feel bad. The fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? We're teaching it because it's history. You give a shit if your son feels bad. He comes home and asks questions. That's your time to say, listen, Joey, here's the real deal. And you lay it on them, right? But if you was born in goddamn 1955, 1960, 1970, you didn't have anything to do with slavery. So why don't you want your kids to understand? Because the legacy is disgusting, right? But it is what it is. You can't start whitewashing shit now, but this is what they continually do. They continually do this. That is everybody's gripe with the white man. You got to knock it off. We know you didn't start slavery or have anything to do with that. But to not acknowledge that it happened, not to acknowledge the sabotage. You never heard of the black laws? You never heard of redlining? They didn't teach you none of this, right? So when you don't teach white youth this, they really grow up thinking there was no sabotage on black people, and they just don't. You're not. That was my problem with Charlie Kirk. He was just saying things about how black people are ruining America, but he was not given the true education of the Southern Education Board and the General Education Board working together to suppress black intelligence for how many generations? 2, 3? Do you think? What do you think can happen? This is a logical and rational question. What do you think will happen if you suppress somebody, a family, for 3 generations straight, and tell them, no, you're not gonna go to school, but we're gonna train you on this, and then there's only a limited amount of jobs in blue collar anyway, right? And before we even allow you to do that, we got to make sure these illiterate whites get that first. This is history, right? This is not conjecture. This is not me making things up. This is history. That I can open a slide and go down the timeline and give you the history, and you wouldn't be able to do nothing with that history I gave you. You wouldn't be able to say this is not true. This is misinformation. I would smoke your boots if you tried that, and I would point out all the sources. You wouldn't be able to do anything with it if I chose to do that. So my problem with Charlie Kirk was showing up to a college, talking to these 9th and 10th freshmen and sophomore students who are just now learning themselves and becoming into themselves, and you're getting them all riled up with biased information. Was kind of crazy to me, because it might have been offensive to black people, but you also put these black kids in danger now, because now these white kids are walking around with an ego because you gave them the half truth. And guess what? You done attach yourself to Jesus Christ, right? So now they really believe that you got the president endorsing you. So they really believe what you say. Well, like I said in the beginning, you could have took any group of people. We could have swapped it out, and it could have been the black people in charge, and we could have did that to white people, and they was just going to be just as ignorant.
Something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
Now, what that man was really saying was, you did not do the quality assurance that you usually did on these other products. Even if you change the license for a lot of these products that started out one way, right? Like, what's the competitor for Wegovy? Hey, babe, what's that product that my doctor want me on? Yeah, Ozempic, right? Ozempic was not for weight loss. Now, all of a sudden, I don't know what the original license was for, but I believe it it was relicensed Ozempic. You are field mice to these people. Field mice. And they're going to make money on just running trials on you. Just test. And I'm talking about all of you, not just black. Forget just black people. Right? This is why we don't have time to fight amongst. You want to waste time? That's why I didn't respond to the guy that was in the chat. He's coming over here. He's saying ignorant things. Listen, man, you in the wrong show for that, man. Got time to slow down my show for somebody ignorant saying ridiculous things about another person? That shows your intelligence. That shows who you are. But this is what I don't have time for. I don't have time to just be not liking a white person because they white. That is the stupidest thing in the goddamn world. Oh yeah, they finding out now the side effects of it. You understand? But I don't know if doctors should get a kickback. You know, seriously, we need oversight on the healthcare system and how it operates on a whole. And I'm talking about the kickbacks, the incentives for doctors. We seriously need oversight on that, and that needs to be reframed. The whole system.
When you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, there's something else going on with that. Something else going on with that.
It is something going on with
that. Hey, Fauci in the back talking about, yeah. Yo, Fauci, what are you talking about? Huh? Yeah, Bill de Blasio out here doing it for cheeseburger and fries. That's crazy. Hold on.
Something else.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people like me and most everybody here didn't get an incentive. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city. But I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
He was still talking. He wasn't going out like that.
There's something going on with that. Oh.
Yo, Tucker, what are you doing speaking in black voice? Yo, Tucker, is this what you do when you at home and you watching black shows? There's something going on with that. That is hilarious. I know you do. You understand? I'm not mad at you. Who knows the racist shit people do in the confines of their own home? Mocking the Chinese lady makes my daughter laugh. So I mock her all the time. Huh? I know how to make my daughter laugh. No, it's not the Indian that makes her laugh. The Indians make me, when someone mocks Indians, it makes me laugh. Don't. That makes me laugh. Every race wants to mock another race until it's time for your race to get mocked. I can't be mad. I can't be mad at Tucker Carlson out here doing black voice. That was hilarious, Tuck.
My incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
There's something going on with that. Oh, you think? Don't know that man's name, have no idea why he didn't immediately become head of NIH, because he's obviously a lot wiser than the people who actually ran it.
He was wise, but the braids are going to hold him back. You got to cut the braids. He might get the job. But he knew what time it was. He definitely knew what time it was.
Francis Collins and the rest of those liars. But that guy just knew. He knew. And you'll notice the black mayor of DC said, all right, we're not going to bother you anymore. Everything that man said, whose name has not been recorded by history, or at least by us, was indisputably true. That's the reason that the vaccination rate for urban black people in the United States was relatively low.
I mean, we already had a history of this. You understand? We already had a history of this. The Tuskegee experiment. When they gave us syphilis. Come on, man. I forgot the guy's name. He originally did the connection, and I got my YouTube channel taken for this, so I'm gonna walk on eggshells. The guy is he was a British doctor, and he originally made the connection between autism and inoculation, right? So I did some research on. He was defamed, right? They tore him to shreds. I think he got delicensed and tore him up, tore him to pieces. He recently came out with a documentary. I showed it on my show, and it blew people's mind. He's still going. And at that point, once they take your license and try to defame you and call you crazy, and you got to keep going. 20-something years later, 30 years actually, maybe even 40 years later, dude is still going. And people are now starting to see his documentary, see his work. He put a lot of effort into his documentary. And damn, it was needed, man. The correlation between the inoculations and autism and what he was able to prove. But when I first read and did my research on him, there was a timeline and a spike in not only autism, but ADHD. And then working in the Board of Education, just seeing how they categorize or label someone as special ed, or why they may be in special ed. There was times my heart was broke because I would have a student and they said he was in special ed. And I'm like, this child, this child shouldn't be in special ed. But yeah, I don't have enough power to change that diagnosis. I don't have any power to change that diagnosis. And that was one of the most frustrating things in the world, right? Because they would just tell me, well, you don't know him, you down in class with him all day. Because I was a specials teacher at one point. And they say, well, you don't know him, you know, you're not in class with him all day. He like to hit people. Okay, that's what qualifies you to be special ed? I created a coding challenge. And the coding challenge was from 3rd grade to 5th grade. He won. He won. He was only in the 3rd grade. He won. He did not have his father in the home. I knew his family. They've been thugging since thugging been thugging. All his uncles was thugs. All of them. And his father wasn't president. So you telling me he got a problem with hitting people don't mean he should be in special ed, bro. But I definitely seen some signs in many of the students of ADHD not being able to. And again, we have not done. It's funny how they use these terms, clinical trials, this, that, but when you look into it, they don't do transparent clinical trials, right? Fauci is just another sprinkle on a Sunday. And the reason Fauci felt comfortable doing what he did is what I'm saying is the culture in that environment for the people who are in charge of sectors of business and education and they administrate things. This is how it was before them. They was groomed and showed how, can't nobody touch you. So the system got to break.
Not because they were getting disinformation, but because they weren't. They weren't watching Fox News in the same numbers. They weren't watching MSNBC and CNN in the same numbers. So they just applied like what seemed obvious. Really, you did this in 6 months? It's not actually been tested on anybody? You want me to put it in my body? And you're telling me that if I don't, I'm a bad person? Why are you telling me that? Why are you ruling by fear and asking me to trust you? That was spot on. But Fauci, because he's a narcissist, didn't let those words penetrate. He was like, the blacks, I still think they love me, but they're very uneducated. Imagine what his thoughts were in that moment. Imagine.
That's crazy that he wrote that in his diary. Damn, Fauci, you was a wild boy. The blacks, I still think they love me, but they're very uneducated. And yet, I guess we ain't that uneducated, huh? I guess we know something you did not want us to know. I'm not going to get into it too deep, but there's more to dark skin than a phenotype, right? But this ain't the show for that. Just understand there's science behind the melanation and the eumelanin in this skin. There's a whole science behind it. And it's more technical than it is anything. Sometimes I do think that we are androids. Just a highly sophisticated version of what we see on TV as androids, but we ourselves. And it wouldn't be so crazy because it does say that in the religious books. That we was designed. It does say that Enki and Ninhursag and the Sumerian creation tablets were creating beings and experimenting with genetics. It does say this. Maybe that's why they didn't want you to know the true history of the Sumerians and the Mesopotamians, Babylonians, Assyrians. You would have figured out that the Torah was plagiarized. You would have figured it out, just like that.
actual racism going through his brain right then. We found this black guy and he's just lecturing Fauci about real science. Like, where's the evidence? Fauci's like, no. We got this. No, you don't.
Damn, Tucker. Yo, Tuck, you gotta invite me on the show, bro. I'm gonna pull the black voice out of you. We need more than a second of you doing black voice, bro. That's crazy. On some issues, Tucker is a happy fool, but he admits, yeah, he is. You can tell he enjoyed doing black voice. I don't mind.
Brain right then. We found this black guy and he's just lecturing Fauci about real science. Like, where's the evidence? Fauci's like, no. We got this. No, you don't. So great. But
that's what you think? That's what. That's hilarious.
Caused him not a moment of actual self-reflection. Not one moment. Fauci was convinced from the beginning of this, well, really from the beginning of the AIDS epidemic, which was a real epidemic, by the way.
Yeah, but if we dig into that, you understand, we probably find out some things. And the reason I say that is because in this book here, Behold the Pale Horse, by William Cooper, he talks about how the AIDS virus was created by the U.S. government. I was going to say mainly to get rid of fags, but I can't say that because I was just going to troll y'all. That used to be a word we could say back in the days. It didn't necessarily mean everybody used it, right? It was a funny word. Yo, you're a faggot. Then they got sensitive. Yo, you can't call people that. What? We've been calling people this forever. Yeah, but they got feelings. It hurts. So, I only use it to troll the homosexuals. I don't really mean anything by it. And besides, they're working out now. Who needs an issue with a buff homosexual? Blindsided while you trying to enjoy a day out. He's got on the Nazi boots and the high socks. Just came from the gym. So you want to be calling people faggot, huh? So listen, bro, I'm making content, bro. Knock it off. Just trying to enjoy a day, huh? Now I got the spa. I can't win. If I win, I'm out here beating up homosexuals. If I lose, I lost to them. What do you do? Chill out. It's all trolling. You understand? Nobody cares. But really, I heard that the AIDS virus was to get rid of the homosexuals and the blacks and the Hispanics, poor whites. This is a different group of people down here on this planet. This is crazy. I'm about to leave, but do you ever think about the shit they do, right? While feverishly trying to get to Mars, they're also trying to kill everyone on the planet that is not of a certain. At this point, we don't. In the United States, it don't matter if you white or black. They're trying to kill you, right? Someone just said it in my chat. So it's in the water, it's in the food. It doesn't matter. You shopping at the same places I'm shopping, right? So it tells me they don't really have a respect for you either, right? But what we know is they are working. They don't have our best interests. They're working hard to get rid of us. If it's not diabetes, it's your liver's falling to pieces, your kidneys are falling to pieces. You don't think they know how to stop this? They know how to stop this shit. But look at the system. Stop looking at the ice. Look at the system. Right? Back in the days, there used to be a place, if you wanted a hamburger, you go to a place and they cook your hamburger right there in front of you. Now they just warming that shit up. No bueno. No bueno. Robert Kennedy tried to tell you about all the dyes they were using in the candies, this, that, and the third, right? They know how to. A lot of these candies too, they're banned in what we call third world countries. How third world are they if they have enough sense to say, nah, that causes cancer, it's a carcinogen? And yet we have a whole department who really nobody does their job here, and they get paid so much money. Nobody does their job. We had the cackling idiot. Huh? She's out here washing collard greens and telling stories about washing collard greens in a bathtub for blacks. You only got one job, lady. Just don't let in migrants. Couldn't do it. Could not do it. So it's ironic that we have a Food and Drug Administration and they don't administrate a goddamn thing. Can you protect the people? Can you? And even when you bring the science to them, you know why? Because they're compromising, they're treasonous. That's why. It's not you that is unpatriotic, it is them. They've taken a vow, they've taken an oath to do their job, and they don't do it. How dare you tell us something is not addictive, and then it gets you approve it, and it turns out it is highly addictive. Oxycontin. Millions died. Millions of families were uprooted. All of a sudden, people become addicts. I don't know how many of you have ever been through something like that, but it's not fun. Right? And then all America is ever going to do is see it as an opportunity to make more money off the end result. Right? So now that the end result is your daughter's an addict, well, we could subsidize treatment programs. Let's get our people on our network first to get the people get all the houses in your community. Now you got an addict house in your community somewhere that's subsidized by the government. It's ridiculous. That's a whole nother business I have not even spoken on in depth yet. And plenty of white people are unhappy, but their voices are not being heard. Now they're starting to see, right? these are middle class neighborhoods, and then they just slap a fucking treatment program right in the middle. Call it some luxury bullshit, which they are charging that insurance company anywhere from $1,400 to $3,000 a night sometimes. How can that money be? Who has that money outside of the government? So you helped make these people sick by not doing your job, and now you create the problem, provide the solution. You're making money no matter which way the door swings. Roby says sugar alone makes the human body struggle to defend against sickness and diseases. But yet we all love sweets. Well, that's because the government, after using government resources for private companies, the United Fruit Company, to go fight a fucking sugarcane war in another country. Around the same time, the scientists realized they were experimenting with genetics and started to splice the corn. Started to play around with the corn and realized, we can make artificial sweetness out of the corn. Corn syrup. So they had to double back because they had told everybody don't grow crops. And then we were subsidizing the farmers. But then they went back to the farmers and they said, actually, you could actually grow corn. We don't mind if you grow corn. I don't know if you guys have ever looked on the back of... Start looking on the back of labels. There's not that much that high fructose corn syrup is not in. And you have to Google some of these names because one alteration of high fructose corn syrup and they may change the name to something, but it is still corn syrup. They just gave it another name. Oh, it gets deep. It gets deep, right? Because we subsidize the cornfields. You ever drive through places and you're like, yo, there's a lot of cornfields. A lot of cornfields. But there's so many things to pay attention to that you don't have time to go home and look up the history of fucking corn. This is why you should subscribe to my channel, because you don't never know what I'm going to talk about. This is why I only like to talk about what I want to talk about, and I don't chase the algorithm because I don't want to be an algorithm whore. I wouldn't enjoy it. So I don't get a lot of people. When I get deep in those conversations, they pick up and they're like, yo, shut him down. He's talking too fucking much. Uncle Andy said he has. Yeah, man. It's ridiculous when you look at the back. Uncle Andy, I was looking at all type of stuff. Ketchup, mustard. Why is high fructose corn syrup and mustard and ketchup? Like, what? The amount of unnecessary things in our food is ridiculous. I had seen a video on Instagram that said there was cockroach juice and Tropicana orange juice. So I thought this was like disinformation. So I went and researched all the stuff in the back of the Tropicana orange juice. And for coloring, they had chose. Now, we don't know these words. But a quick AI, just sending a picture to AI and say, yo, is there anything related to bugs in here? Yo, it's going to blow your mind. Like, yeah, right there. That word right there. That comes from the such and such cockroach. What? They use it for food coloring. What are you talking about? What? It's never that serious. It is never that serious that we have to start using the guts of cockroaches to keep the fruit the color of orange juice. What are you doing? Observing the facts. What's good, bro? But again, we should not be surprised if you ever question whether we are truly funding both sides or funding sickness via this corn syrup. I would like to remind you what came out in the X-Files when they said we were spending $40 million a week on poppy seeds, on the poppy plant. The deal we had with Afghanistan. Where's that money going? The moment they detached that dollar from the gold standard, it was off the rails from there. It was off the rails from there. It's basically an IOU. I would gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today. Anyway, if this is your first time to my channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If this is your first time. I got some things to do, which is really lay in the bed with my wife and watch Deal or No Deal. But it's always a pleasure to build with y'all, right? And I think from the beginning, it doesn't matter if it's 100 people in here or 11. I love conversating with you guys, man. You know, the Bible says something like, where there is 2 or 3 gathered in my name, there will my spirit be. And I take that to mean it is really talking about frequency. That's all it's talking about, right? I troll you guys a lot, and I say, yo, your God is not my God. I never say I don't have a God. I just say your God is not my God, right? And in all actuality, my God has no name. I don't know what I would call the God, but it's more of a frequency. The epitome of the ultimate and the highest frequency, which we're simple humanoids, right? So we come up with these words, but they're just labels, right? So what we call a bird, it doesn't mean it's a bird. It's a bird to us because we called it a bird. What is it really? We don't fuck it. It doesn't have to have a name. If we say it's a bird, it's a bird. That's just it. Is there anybody else here that's going to tell us different? No? Okay, to us, it's a bird. So the whole concept of God and your label, right? You call him Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah, and I don't have a name. But what I do know is that everything on this earth is in a constant state of vibration. Scientifically, I know this to be true because when you get into the metaphysics and you start to break down all the way down to the atoms, the protons, neutrons, electrons. Well, if they are moving and it takes accumulation of atoms to even make molecules, and then going to make organs and tissues and make all type of elements, then everything is always going to be in a consistent state of vibration. Some have the theory that all is one, and it is just the vibration of that one. Some call it the ether. It is the vibration, frequency, the amplitude, and the speed that will change the perception of what it is you are experiencing down on this planet. So many times, because I have this understanding, I will withdraw from people. I don't really have time to explain because they would not understand. So it's not best to try to explain. Right? I fully understand when people call me weird. I'm weird. I understand why I'm weird to them. I didn't say I was better than them. I just understand that they are on another plateau or another frequency. Of course I would be weird to you. I'm not on the same frequency as you. I don't even take it offense. Neither should you. It does not mean that they are better. I didn't even say you was. However, y'all on two different frequencies, and that's okay. That is what you call knowledge itself. You have to understand that you are vibrating on a totally different frequency. So, for the people that's over here, obviously, we vibrate on a similar frequency. You're not always going to catch it's not for everybody, right? So if you if you find a few of your clan members in the world, you like, yo, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Because most of the day I go through, I'm not vibing with none of these cats, right? Me, some say I'm a little bit more of an adept. So I experience jumping into other frequencies. But you have to know your reality and when you pull yourself back, right? I could jump into some negative shit, but then I even do it a certain way. So it looks like I'm involved in something negative, right? But then when you really, I give you an example. Some people was mad at me recently, I think maybe last month. I was playing with their mind. Then I had to ask them at one point. I said, what did I say that you didn't like? What did I say? You know they can't answer me? I knew you couldn't answer me, right? Because I know you're impulsive. I know these people play games on your impulsiveness. Scientifically, they know how you're going to react before. So do I, though. So I just take advantage of that. But then I ask you, yo, what you mad at me about? Nah, because you said, what did I say? You can't tell me what I said because I really didn't say all of that. How I do 15 videos and never said nothing. I just had you reacting to shit the whole time. That should be a lesson on how. And now, if you think I'm adept, these people are fucking gurus. If I'm adept, then they are Jedis. Because they have the resources to only study your behavior. Only study your genetics. Do tests on it. I have to wait till they do it and then pour into and take apart what they did. Remember this, you're a duality. You understand? You can't see everything. You cannot feel everything. So it don't make sense for you to be a materialist. You can't you can't see heat, but your ass could feel it. You can't see gamma rays, but your ass could feel it. To this day, now you got to think about this. If there is something called radio waves, which we know there is, and there is something called gamma rays, infrared, X-rays, these things we cannot see. It is intangible. So this is what I want you to understand. We gave that just a name, a term that we would understand. But we still don't know what to call that intangible energy that is inside of us that we cannot cut and slice, right? So we say it is a soul. We say this is a spirit. You gotta listen more than you talk. Then you have some understanding. Bull 8410. Relax. You gotta breathe. Do a 4 breath count, beloved. Breathe in. Take 4 seconds to inhale. Hold it 4 seconds. Let it out for 4 seconds. There's nothing that is not on a beat, on a rhythm. You understand? On a cycle. You understand? The earth rotates on a cycle. It revolves on a cycle. Your heart beats on a cycle. If it's not on a correct cycle, you are out of tune. Ain't nobody else gonna put it in alignment. You got to sometime calm yourself down. Have knowledge of yourself. Know when you out of pocket. Read the room. Anyway, my show is over. You understand? My show is over. Yeah, you caught the tail end, beloved. Tail end. I'm out of here. I was just about to play some jazz. Get up out of here, you understand? I'm still playing the jazz, but shout out to Tucker Carlson. I'll probably be back tomorrow, y'all. Play some jazz from my album and all that as I leave here. There was a song that was on my mind. Is this? I think this is a song. This is Tomorrow for Me. Hold on. That's the one. I don't know why this song was on my mind. This song was from my album. You guys have a great night. wood, cloves, black walnut. Right. The link is in my bio. The link is in my video description. You definitely want to work on deworming yourself. Get this album and the link in the video description. This album is in the video description box.
Force a smile on my face before I start my drive. And I work and they pay me whatever they pay. I don't feel alive. Yeah. It's my dream to be at one with peace, just driving. You and me complete that dream of us just vibing. Vibing, vibing. I'd rather be free, just vibing, vibing. Vibing. to me.
Aubrey.
I'm free to dream. It brings relief and peace in me.
I told you what you
to
do.
me.
Did I say that? You do that a lot. What's this doing?
That's free
playing my
to
bed?
me. Cause honesty, the energy, it has to be divinity. That's love in me. 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 The only way. The only way. The only
I just had an idea. Even though that show ended, I just restarted recording. We're going to do a new show. We're going to do a new show. You don't have to stay. Only because I started building with some of y'all. You understand? So I say, why not? Why not keep on building? Let's talk about science and mysticism. See how much of this I want to go over anyway. Science and mysticism through history. You know what? Deal or no deal is going to be there. I might not even stay that long. I'm just building a little bit. I don't get a chance to really give out this type of information. Who am I give it to? I'm on YouTube. You know, they don't come for this type of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's all, Uncle Andy, to be honest with you, even if it was only you, because I know you appreciate the knowledge. I don't like to give pearls to swine, right? But there's no way to really filter up here. The only way you usually know is when you got low numbers, and then that is your class. That's your class right there. Whoever's stuck around. You understand? That's who you talk to. It ain't going to be 100 all the time. That's not who it's meant for. So I don't really get a chance to do this that much. Anyway, I made these slides, but I never went over it with anybody. Science and mysticism through history. Ancient Egypt. Priests of the mystery schools were simultaneously scribes, mathematicians, astronomers, architects, and surgeons. No conflict between sacred and material knowledge. I don't know if I bring up Thutmose the Third in these slides. But there were many different what we call underground schools, esoteric schools. Thutmose III, one of his initiatives were to bring all of the schools together. I'm just thinking right now how much time there must have been for someone to actually hone in and on their skills and find their purpose before we got so technologically advanced and the population blew up to the point where now it depends. We don't know if you would have time to find your real purpose. A lot of people say, what's the meaning of life? I think it's purpose. Not that I'm right, but I think it's just sense of purpose. What's the meaning of life? You got to find purpose. But depending on what family you're born into, you may not even have time to find your purpose. And then once you find your purpose, you're not even allowed to follow your purpose. Pythagoras, master of mysticism and science, founded a school whose teaching on geometry, music, and numbers endured to this day. His geometric theorem and contributions to music and numbers endure to this day. The thing about Pythagoras is he did wait for 1 year to be taught by the Africans. The burnt faced ones. So I don't know how much racism, like how much the variations of the human race is based off physical features played a part back then. Because he definitely waited. And then he took it back to Greece, and he built on what he learned, and I don't think you could take that away from him, right? It's like someone teaching you martial arts. Bruce Lee learned martial arts. So he combined Wing Chun with something of his own style. Right? He invents the 1-inch punch. But then if you don't never mention Ip Man, it's a little bit disrespectful. So when I realized that there was a conscious effort to eradicate the entire history of all of the civilized Africans, to make it seem like they was just some type of Neanderthals and just totally inferior to everything, right? Like they had a history. So therefore I have to mention it from time to time. Like, no, listen. He waited outside of an African school for a year before they even allowed him to learn. Not to take away from anything that he learned at school and then went off on his own, and because that's why you learn it, right? So you can contemplate on it and strengthen it. Middle Ages, science served theology. Researchers had to conform to biblical postulates. Only alchemists pursuing physical and moral transmutation laid foundations for chemistry and medicine. Are people still following the ways of the alchemists, right? Consciously, are we? I would say no. I don't think we're trying to, even allegorically, try to turn lead into gold. I don't think we're trying to become better people. Not many of us. The people that are, obviously, they're going to call you a weirdo, so. Modern era. Descartes, Newton, Leibniz, Kant, Einstein, Heisenberg, Schrödinger all showed profound reverence for the mysteries of life, many demonstrating a resolutely mystical attitude. Maybe I will talk about this tomorrow. Maybe this just be a pre-ramble of what I will talk about tomorrow. I'll figure out how to put it in there somehow. Scientists begin with observation of poorly understood phenomena, then undertake systematic experiments, putting questions to nature while reducing accidental influences. Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Let me see what else I'm going to go through. Yeah, this is a heavy episode. That's probably why I never spoke on it. Because you got to be in the mood to teach that and receive it. It's heavy. All right. Let me go in the room with my daughter and my wife. I'll holler at you tomorrow. Peace out.